to utilize an ETL, extraction, transformation, and load. It's something different. Same, the meaning of the acronyms is the same, but here you are using an extraction, load, transformation, and here is extraction, transformation, load. And then you create your data warehouse. Okay, this data warehouse will be in Google Cloud BigQuery. Okay, one time that we have this Google Cloud, we can utilize as optional Vertex AI for data mining. But by these days, inside BigQuery, we can create data mining. We can create a machine learning model. So here, using BigQuery, we are going to create a machine learning model using this data warehouse inside this environment. And then we're going to create a visualization using Data Studio. So I would like that you understand the full process. It looks like a little bit complex, but if you understand how many services we're utilizing, it's extremely easy. Okay? If you want taking a screenshot, I will be following step by step. So this is the step one, moving the data into the bucket, then creating my data warehouse, then creating a machine learning model to predict how much is the fair cost of a taxi ridership. For instance, if you want to go from 42nd Street to the Bronx, how much do I pay? But I need to consider some variables, like for instance, the time and the distance, okay? And then inside this, we are gonna create a visualization. Any question about this before I continue? No question? Okay. Look at this. Here, usually I go to Google and then I use GCP console. And look at this. This is the console for Google Cloud Platform. Okay, it's https console.cloudgoogle.com. So we are gonna go inside this link. Okay, I have multiple accounts. I'm gonna use my Rutgers account. And okay, so here, this is the Google platform. And I have multiple projects, if you see here. Data science, machine learning, and multiple ones, okay? So if I click here in this icon we call hamburger, I have this service. Do you see the top one? Cloud storage. And do you see here we have the bucket? We have another service, BigQuery. Do you see here? And we have another service, Vertex. And Data Studio is outside of these environments. But right now, we need to start with the first one, cloud storage. If I go to cloud storage, look at this. I click on buckets. And you will see all these buckets that I have created. So, for instance, if I go to yellow caps, here, the last one. And I would like to see trips of 2020. Look at this. I have all these 5, January, February, up to December 2020. If I go back, I have 2021, all these trips. So in other words, what is a bucket here? It's a data repository in the cloud. Question. Can I utilize this to store the data as is? Can I utilize a bucket to store the data as is? The answer is yes. You don't need to modify the data. So you are storing this data as is. Look at this, the format. The format is Parquet, if you pay attention here. What is Parquet? It's a columnar format. It's not a traditional one as CSV that you double click and then you see the text. No, in this case, what we have is a Parquet format. If you open this file, basically you will see ASCII characters. Okay, are you familiar with the ASCII characters? I think that you will know here. Let me show you. Yes. So these are the ASCII characters. Do you see? All of them. For instance, you can see these, all of them. These are the ASCII. But it doesn't have any meaning. Okay? So the question is the following one. Okay. How do I create a bucket? How do I create a bucket? For instance, here I have multiple buckets. If I go here, look at this, how many files I have. Okay? So every file is a CSV file. And this file contains trajectory of GPS data. Okay? But I would like to create something similar. How do I? So here, I have this option. Look at this. I am utilizing this service, cloud storage. Okay? If I go to the slide, right now I am here in this part using this service. Okay? So my next step is create a bucket. How do I create a bucket? Let me clear this. And let me go back here. I hit this button, create, but I am inside the service. Okay? And look at this. Here, automatically show me costs. Do you see how much they charge per month? 0.026 cents per gigabyte per month.
Wow.
Okay? If you have in multiple regions. Okay? But the first thing that I have to do is create the name of my bucket. I will utilize TLC, okay? And let's call MBA 2023 Spring Testing. This is the name of my bucket, okay? So the idea is that you have a very good name in the way that you understand what is the meaning of this. Because later you will have a tsunami of buckets. So later I hit continue. And look at this. Here is asking the location type of my bucket. This location type could be in multiple states in US. But let's say that I don't need multiple states. I just need one region because I need the interaction with this is very low. Look at this, the cost. 0.2, and is located in South Carolina. Do you see? 0.2 gigabytes. Okay, and then I hit continue. And usually I don't need to interact with the storage class, but you can say it's nearline, coline, or is for historical backup. Okay, I will say standard, short-term storage. What's the meaning of this? That tomorrow I can remove it. I can delete it. Okay, so I'm gonna hit create. Okay, so here is an alert that if you share this bucket and you make all these public, somebody can gain access to your data. So I click here, and right now it's processing. Do you see here my bucket? TLC MBA 2023 spring testing. It's empty. Do you see? I don't have data here. Okay. So right now I have my repository of data. Let's go to the data. TLC trip data. Okay, if I click here, look at this. I have data since 2009, but let's go to 2022 and let's select November 2022. And we're gonna utilize this high volume for hard vehicle trips. Okay, what is that? Here I have a database dictionary. Here, this one, high volume. This is the database dictionary. And look at this. Here is the field name. Every time that you are working with data, you need to request your database dictionary. Why? Because it has the schemas. So here we have the field name, and then you have every field name of the table. So if you see here, we have the description. For instance, we have for Juno, Uber, Via, and Lyft. Okay? And then we have, for instance, the pickup date time, the date and time of pickup, of trip pickup, drop off, the day and time of trip drop off, pickup location. Look at this, TLC taxi zone. Look at this. This data doesn't have the latitude and longitude. They utilize taxi zones. What is a taxi zone? I'm going to explain you in a few minutes, but keep in mind, the reference, the geographical reference is a taxi zone. Are you following me? I'm trying to explain the data that we are going to start working. Okay, this is the pickup location, and this is the drop-off location. Do you see? Okay, later we have trip miles, trip time. For instance, trip time is total time in seconds for passenger trip. This is important. Look at these, the units. So this number is expressed in seconds, okay? And then we have tolls, sales tax, airport fee, tips, and this is the driver pay. Our machine learning model will predict the driver pay. So for instance, I input the pickup location and the drop-off location, and then I input the mile and the time, and I predict the driver pay. Okay, so in other words, basically the machine learning model that we are going to construct in today's lecture, consider these two, and predict this. If I create this, is y equal beta 0, beta 0 is a constant, plus beta 1, the trip miles, plus beta 2, the trip time, plus the beta, I put like a matrix, the pickup location, plus the beta for the drop-off location, like a matrix. Why I put like a matrix? Because I will create one hot vector. That's the name, one hot vector. I'm going to explain you in a few minutes. It's extremely simple idea, okay? But this is our multiple linear regression model that we are going to utilize. And we are looking for here the values of beta 0, beta 1, beta 2.
Thank you.
And here we have multiple betas. Let's say we have p betas, and here we have q betas. So beta q, beta sub q, and beta sub p. So in total, maybe we're gonna have close to 500 betas. 500 betas, okay? But this is the database dictionary, okay? Let me show you what is the meaning of a taxi zone. Let me clear the screen. And let me show you something here. So I'm going back here. And where is record? Look at save file. This one. Okay, look at this. This is the file for the taxi zones. Do you see here we have location ID, borrow ID, zone, and service zone. Basically, in the database, we're gonna find the location ID. 1, 2, 3. For instance, if we have 25, it's associated with Brooklyn, Warren Hill. If we have, for instance, 254, let me go to 254. 254 is the Bronx, Williamsbridge, Olinville, Borough Zone. So the question is, what about if my pickup location is this, Pelham Parkway, and the drop-off location is in Staten Island? So what is the drive pay from this location to this location? So I'm looking for a machine learning model to predict it. Somebody will say, Professor, but this example doesn't make sense in real life. Yes, it makes sense. Let's say that you are working at Uber. Have you heard the news about the increase in salary for the drivers? So they need to understand this, okay? And they need to use cloud computing because this is a difficult problem. It's not an easy problem. So I can run a model to predict, okay, for every zone, how many zones we have? 265. Do you see here the last one? So I have 265 pickup locations, and I have 265 drop-off locations. So let's say that we have 500 in total between pickup and drop-off. That's why we have, for every location, we have a beta in our model, okay? For every location, we have a beta. And we are gonna create a one hot vector. How do we create a one hot vector? Let me show you right now. For instance, let's say that this is the pickup location. Let me use this. This is the pickup location, and this is the drop-off location. Okay, so the pickup location is 10, and drop-off is 20. Okay, so what I'm gonna do here, and I have another one. The pickup location is 254, and the drop-off is 40. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is create a matrix where I have PU underscore 10, PU underscore 254, DO 20, and DO 40. And look at this. Here I have an ID, okay? This is the ID, ID 1 and ID 2. So I'm gonna keep the ID. Look at this, ID 1 and ID 2. What is the value of PU for ID 1? 1. For 2, 0. For 254, in 1 is 0, in 2, 1. The drop-off here is 1, and here is 0. What about here? Is 0 and 1. So this is what we call one hot vector. So we transform this data because we have the raw data in this format, and we create feature vectors. These vectors are binary vectors. And then I can create a beta for this, a beta for this, a beta for this, and a beta for this. Are you following me? So this is the one hot vector. Again, let me type here. But we don't have to create this manually. Okay? And this is part of the machine learning model. And using BigQuery, we can create this. Okay, so let me go back here. Do you have enough context of this TLC data? And let me download. I'm going to download November 2022. Okay, click here. I'm downloading this. Do you see here? Right now, I'm downloading the data, if you see. Okay, so as soon the data is downloaded, I will upload this Look at this, the format. The format is Parquet. Okay, it's not CSV. I cannot open this file using double click. Okay, right now I download the file. If you see there, I'm gonna upload the file here. So if you see, I have this option, upload files. Do you see? I'm going to click here, download here. I will select the file. And right now the file is being uploaded. Please pay attention to this part. And pay attention here, will appear the file. So right now it's uploading. If you see here, the process is fast. Okay, right now it's completed, and look at this. Do you see the size of this file? Is 442 megabytes. Right now, we have our data in the Google environment. So right now we upload the TLC data as is into this environment. How long can I keep this data? I can keep 1 year, 2 years, you decide. But you can set up the cluster. For instance, I need that the cluster disappear after 1 year. So you set up the cluster for 1 year, and you can create a budget, because right now you have this size, and you know the cost, and you know the budget. So it's less than 1 gigabyte. So, and the cost is 0.020 cents. So maybe you will pay nothing. Okay? So look at this. Public access is not public. Okay? This is interesting. But you can make public. For instance, you have a partner that need to see this data. You share this publicly, but you need to be careful, because if somebody captures your link, they will gain access to this data. So, and I have seen some cases where somebody opened the link by mistake, and somebody can take this data and start reading. Okay, but look at this. We haven't yet explored the data. We haven't seen the data. What is the next step according to the diagram? Do you remember? If you see here,
what diagram is he talking about?
We already accomplished this step, the buckets with Google Cloud Storage. Okay, right now we complete this ELT, Okay, we extract the data, we load the data, and our transformation was moving from this to this location. Oh, so right now I need to pass the data into a BigQuery. I will start using a new service. Okay, so let's go to. So which one is my new service? BigQuery. Okay, look at this. Previously we used cloud storage. Right now we're going to use BigQuery. One question, somebody is aware about all these steps? Somebody has been working with Google before? Okay. Here in this side, we have all the services of Google. Okay. So if I click here, I have all the services that they offer. Look at this. All the services. But we are using only cloud storage for the data lake, and we are going to start using BigQuery. I click here, and look at this. How do I understand this? This is the service of BigQuery, and here I have something called projects. But the main project is this. This is the main project for the service of Google. For instance, let's say that you have a unit of marketing, you create one for marketing. If you have one unit of raw material, you create one unit for raw material here. So here you create the groups or the departments, okay? And then at the end of the month, you can know how much spent each department, for instance, marketing, raw material. So, and you can know the budget. For instance, let's say that this, I have marketing here, and the expenditure is $1,000. So I know the expenditure, okay? But that one is in the top, in the service, okay? But here in BigQuery, we have this project, this service. We have all this. Every icon that you see here basically is a data set. We call to every icon data set. Why we call data set? Because let me go to this. Look at this. I have data of 2020 January, 2020 February.
What data set is he in right now?
2020 March, 2020, 2022 April. Do you see? So I can create my data set. So if I click here, let me create a new data set. This is my project of BigQuery. Here, there are other two projects, but doesn't belong to me. Somebody else shared to me the others. But the top one belongs to me. In that project, I can create data sets. I can remove data sets. I can create tables, and I can remove tables. So I'm going to hit here, create data sets, okay? And I'm going to create MBA Spring 2023. That's it, nothing else. And then I hit create table, create data set. If you see here, here is the data set. It's MBA Spring 2023. If you see here, and it's empty, okay? So what is my next step here? My next step is to create a new table where I can retrieve the data. So if you see these three dots under the data set, I click here, create a table, and then look at this, my source. Do you see? Google Cloud Storage. This is interesting. You have Amazon S3. If you have data in Amazon, you can upload data from Amazon S3. Amazon S3 has buckets. Same thing with Azure Blob Storage. It's the same concept called Azure Blob. So you decide in which location you have data. So Google Cloud Storage here, and then I hit browse, and then I'm going to my bucket. Where is my bucket here? Yeah, here, TLC MBA 2023 Spring Testing. Here is the Parquet file, if you see here. And then the Parquet file is select here. And I hit select. But what about if I have multiple files? Look at this. Let's say that I'm going to Yellow Caps and I have all these Parquet files. Do you see 2022 1, 2022, 2022 2, 3, 4? Let's say that, but I need to upload all of them in one shot. So I need to move or create them into one table. How do I do it? I select just one, click select, but later here, what I'm gonna do is hit the wild character asterisk. Do you see here? I type asterisk. What's the meaning of that? Select all the files, and I can type Parquet. Okay, I'm saying, okay, select all the files with any content here and Parquet here. So it will merge all the tables. Do you see? It's extremely powerful, this tool. So, but let's go to our data set here. And here, and we have this data. Select here. Okay, look at this. Automatically found the file, the file format per kit. Okay? And then I need to provide a table name. So I will say 2022 11. Okay? That's my table name. And then what else I need to do it? In advanced options, I can say, yeah, nothing else. Look at this. Let's say that you already have the table. You can append to the table. So you can aggregate data, or you can write if it's empty, or you can overwrite. For instance, for append to table, if you have new data, you can keep adding incremental data. Okay? So write if it's empty, and then I hit create table. So right now, I'm creating the table. If you see here, it's processing. Do you see this icon here? It's processing. We can go to the job. Here is the job. Here is the duration. I can track the job ID. This is the job ID. It's still processing. Almost done. Do you see 33 seconds uploading the data? "44 seconds, 48 seconds, 55 seconds. It's almost done. So what we are doing now is we're transferring from the bucket into one data warehouse.
Okay.
BigQuery.
Got it.
Okay, it's done. If you see here, right now the table is here. Okay? If you pay attention to this part, look at this. The table is here, and if I click on the table, I will have this. What is the meaning of this? Okay, this is the schema. Here I have all the columns. look at this. Do you remember the pickup time, drop off, the pickup location, drop off location? These are integers. Trip miles, trip time, driver pay. Do you see? Okay, I need to see the details. Okay, look at these, the details. How many records do we have in this table? 18 million. And the size 2.7 gigabytes. One of the advantages of working with Google is that the first five terabytes of query is free. So they won't charge to the company or to the user for the first 5 terabytes. Okay? Then I hit preview and look at this. Right now, I can start reading the Parquet format in a database format. Look at this. Do you see here the pickup location 213 and the drop-off location 213?
Cool.
It means that starting the same zone, starting this zone and finishing the same zone. And this is the trip miles and the trip time. And what's the driver pay? $7 with 47 cents. This is driver pay. But you don't have what is the meaning of 213. You don't have this information. Okay. So we have the driver pay here. And can I query this data? Yes. Okay, what I want to query. Okay, I would like to query this. If you see here, we have this information query here. I will hit new tab. Okay. And if you see here, this is the project. Usually refers to the project. To this project. Do you see here? This is the main project. Concise grain. It change. For instance, if you create your user, maybe it will be different. Okay? But this one is referring to this, concise grain. And then we have this MBA Spring is the data set that we create. If you see here, MBA Spring is the data set. And later we have the table name, 2022-11. Okay? So, but I need to know, I would like to run the following query. In November, okay, in which day has the highest number of, generate the highest revenue? Which day generate the highest revenue in November? So extract day from, okay. And I need as well some driver pay and count asterisk as riderships. And here is driver pay. Sum. And then we hit group by. Group by 1. And here is hit enter. Okay, this is our query. What I'm doing here, I'm saying, okay, I need to extract the day of the month from the pickup date time. And then I need to sum the driver pay. And then I need to count the riderships. Okay? That's it, nothing else. And then I hit run. It's processing. Okay, I have one error. What's the error here? Shouldn't have any error. Looks good. Let's see here, what's the problem? BQuery, extract day. Look at this. They have the documentation here for the extract function, and I just need day, and that's it. So in this case, extract day. Maybe I need to copy this here into here, and then that's it. Look at this. Do you see how powerful is this? I got the answer.
Brilliant.
18 million records. I cannot open this in Microsoft Excel. How many minutes? What time is it now? 7:48. So in less than 48 minutes, we are generating knowledge. And we are using the powerful of cloud computing. Do you know how many dollars I spent doing this query? Less than 0.5 cents. Less than 0.5 cents. Nothing. Nothing. Okay? So, but look at this. I have F0. I don't like to show F0. Let's go to rename this. If I click here, I will type as day November 2022. I'm gonna hit again. And look at this. So right now I have day, some driver pay, and ridership. Okay? So, but I would like to make a visualization of this data. How can I make a visualization? So, do you see here, I have this option, explore data. Okay? And then I have Google Sheets. Okay? I'm gonna start with Google Sheets and then we go to with Looker. Okay? Let's start with Google Sheets. So right now, I'm exporting all the data into Google Sheets. So here is my data in Google Sheets. Okay? So I can create here, let's say, and column stats here. And look at this. Here I have some stats. The sum of this, the average, the median. Do you see? So we have the sum here, and we hit create. And then we have the sum. $334 million. Okay? And I can copy this information into this and paste here, and then I can create a format. And then I can sort the data. And let me sort here. Oops. Okay, so look at this. Here we have the driver pay of the riderships. And here we have the riderships. Look at this. If I calculate here, the average.
Mm-hmm.
I can go to here, average.
B. Oh.
And this is the average per day. So, in other words, the revenue of riderships is $11 million per day, and 602 millions.
602,000.
Sorry, 602,000 riderships of for hire vehicles. So between Uber and Lyft. Okay. So the question is,
Uber and Lyft, not TLC.
okay, I don't like this. I would like to create. Let's do something else. What about the correlation? Look at this here. Correlation. I use this, and then I utilize this. Look at this. What do you think about this number of correlation? 0.95. What do you think about this value? If the riderships increase, what happened with the revenue? Increase. And the number shows that. Okay? And the number shows that. Another thing, what happened if we aggregate, we make a sum of this? $334 million. And what about the sum of this? 18 million. Do you see? This 18 million match with the number of records that we have it. If I go to BigQuery, I'm going to the table. Look at this. Number of rows, 18,085,896.
Bam.
If I go to worksheet, it's the same number. So in that way, I validate this data. Okay? Look at this. How I move a large scale data sets to summarize the data. I aggregate the data by day, and then I move these small data sets into one spreadsheet, 30 lines. Okay? And the time is extremely fast. But let's say that somebody say, I don't want to see a spreadsheet. I want to utilize a business intelligence tool. Okay, let's do it. So let's go back to BigQuery. Here is the query. And then you see here, export data. And we're going to export to Looker Studio. The former name is Data Studio. Right now they call Looker. Okay, if I hit click, look at this. Here we have this, and they did the work for me. Right now they create this visualization. Okay, so you have here the fields, and you can create, for instance, I need to add a scorecard here. Okay, this scorecard will be here. And I would like to add riderships here. Okay, so, and I have the riderships. Okay, I can change some style here for more fancy. And I need to change this chart. Instead of using this, I need line chart. Okay, let me go back here. I need this here. And I don't need this. I need here a record count. Is this one? Okay, and then I need another metric. Okay. Let me change this to here. Okay, so if you see here, I have the driver pay here, and the order is descendant. So this is the top one, 19, followed by 18, 11, 12. But here, I can go to the style, and I can show I can go here, show axis here. We can show the data labels. Do you see here? We can create compact numbers. Do you see 14.4 millions, 13 millions? So 19 is the highest one on December. But here, I would like to show as well in setup, and I have the driver riderships. Okay, here, the metrics. Day, November, I don't need this. And here, I need this here. I don't need this. And then we can show here like currency. Okay. And then we can show here as a number. Okay, look at this. Right now we have this, and we can create something like a filter. We have the days. Do you see here? Let's say that I just need 19, 18, this 4. And right now I'm filtering the data. And look at this. Do you see the chart? Do you see the table? And do you see the ridership? So we are filtering this data. But let's change the title here. This is the title. This is the heavy for hire vehicles. HV, high volume. This means high volume for hire vehicles. Okay. So let me click this here, move this here. Okay, right now I need to save this. I can say TLC underscore HB for hire vehicle 2022 11. Hit enter, and then I save this. Okay, look at this. It's saying, hey, this query is associated with this visualization. I hit acknowledge and save. Okay, so right now I can hit view, And do you see here what I have it? I have the filters. I can see the bottom ones. Let's say 25, 28, 26, and 27. It's filtering. And look at this. The bottom ones are 2.1 million, and this is the record. So then I share this, and I can say, okay, I will share with students that has only Scarlet Mail. I hit save, and let me post on the chat, Control V. Would you please access to this link? I already posted the link on chat. Would you please go to the Zoom link? Try to open. Do you have access? You need to use your rough version. Oh, awesome. So in this case, you can play with the data and make decisions. If you are a decision maker, you don't need to understand about the buckets, about the modern data warehouse. You don't need to understand about the BigQuery service. You need to play with these and make decisions. Okay? Do you see the simplicity of this? How many hours we have taken to make this in total? Less than 1 hour. So this is cloud computing. This is the power.
You have to sign up from your email and
Let me share. Yes.
log in with your address. I have to.
You're welcome.
Okay. How do you go?
Okay, I already said it. Do you see? Look at this. If you start creating this kind of portfolios of visualization, I have this account I pay with my credit card, and per month I pay $10. But I do research, and I use close to sometimes 200 million records. They charge me sometimes $7, $6. But when I use, for instance, I was doing a research study with the software data, close to 200 million records. They charge me $11. But not just to upload it. Storing the data in the bucket is it's just 1 cent. Okay? If you see in my bucket, I have a lot of data sets. And they charge me per month 5 cents. Nothing. But when you are processing the BigQuery, after the terabyte number 5, how do I know how many terabytes consume my query is here? Do you see here? Bytes, mil, 276 megabytes. So we are in February. I think that maybe this is I have consumed 2 terabytes if I make this image. I can arrive to 5 terabytes because usually I make, if I want to create a query, and try to understand why I need to create this query and what is the next step with it. If I don't know, I cannot create a query. And the duration usually is less than 60 seconds. If something goes beyond 60 seconds, you have an error. Stop it, because it's consuming server. But one day I get the query close to 20 minutes. It was a very complex query. And they charge close to 500 gigabytes. So the query never arrives to 5 terabytes. So in this case, Do you see the destination table? It's a temporary table. What's the meaning of that? That I will keep the raw data on the query. This table will disappear. I don't need the table. Why? Because I just regenerated the data. I have the query. And this is the interesting part. Let me show you something here. Look at this. Here are all my queries that I have stored. Let me save this query here. Save query as TLC heavy vehicle for hire vehicle 2022-11. Save it. I close this. I close this. I close everything. Look at this. And if I go here, I have all my queries. For instance, this is a geospatial query and TLC salaries. Look at this. Here I have this query here. This is the mother data warehouse, a query. The subway query that I mentioned to you. Look at this. It's a long query. So I can store census tract of New York, city bike, all the queries, dimension and measures, housing. And this is for this class, the machine learning. So this is a query to create a machine learning. I'm going to explain later, but let's say that I need to open the query that I just create, the TLC. Where is that query? Here. This is the query that I just created. So, do you see? You can create queries and you can reutilize. For instance, in this query, let's say that every month you need to generate a report with this data. And right now you have the file of December. You upload the file of December into the bucket, and then you move into BigQuery, and you don't have to create anymore the query. Why? Because I will replace, instead of 11, it will be 12. Instead of November, it will be December. And that's it. So I reutilize the code. It saves me time. I don't have to think twice. Just one time and store the code, and somebody else can run this code for me. I can tell, hey, every month, run the TLC HDFHD 2022 and update the data. So they follow this procedure, generate the report, generate the looker data, share it with stakeholders, that's it. So how many hours took this? If you make this repetitively, less than 1 hour. And everybody has access to it. Does that make sense? Okay. So if you want to practice on BigQuery, if you want to have an experience with this, you can open an account, and Google, they will give you $300 for free for an account. And you can start practicing, creating the same project that we did it. You can replicate. Of course, it's optional. If you think that makes sense for you, it's going to help you in your career path, do it. If you think that it won't help you, don't waste your time. Okay? My suggestion is try to work with this, because by these days, it doesn't matter if you're in marketing, in manufacturing, in engineering. If somebody gives you a tsunami of data, you need this. You need this. And let's say that the company doesn't have this service, you can show a business case. You can tell, hey, look at this. This is the cost. I spend less than $20. If we replicate this every month, per year we need $240, and we don't need to purchase a new server of $100,000, license of Windows, and say $50,000, and a database manager, and $200K. So per year, maybe I will need $250,000 just for this project. $240. That's why you are using these technologies, cloud compute. And this is the future that is present. So right now we are facing the future. Yeah, it's similar with ChatGPT. If you understand, ChatGPT will help me to learn more. You would. If ChatGPT will try to replace some tasks, this is the level of it. But if you learn, you understand more, your level of task will be faster. ChatGPT cannot do this. Okay? Somebody say, oh, ChatGPT will make that people lost the jobs. That's not true. Look at this. How can ChatGPT start? I cannot tell ChatGPT, hey, create a bucket, upload this, by this day, but next year, maybe, I don't know. But if ChatGPT understands this, we will need people that understand how to code the prompts. You see, how to code the prompts. What is the prompt? The text that you are. So, how somebody can make a question? How is this relate to IT for managers? Because I'm studying a management class and I'm teaching this. What is the relationship? Somebody can tell me how can we make a relationship of all this Google platform with IT for managers? What is the relationship? Exposure. Right now, you understand better what is happening with cloud computing. What is the advantage of this? How much cost? It's not something difficult. It's extremely easy, intuitive. Okay? So that's the idea. If I don't have exposure with this kind of tools, it's complicated to make any decision. Okay? Do you have any questions? Please feel free to make questions. Students on Zoom or here in